Hey everybody, welcome to Southern Denver Living. Today we are reviewing one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Denver. If you're looking to live the sort of European lifestyle, walk to your coffee shop, walk to your local restaurants, walk to your refill stations and grocery stores, we have the perfect neighborhood for you. It's called Berkeley, it's on the west side of town, and we cannot wait to get into all the juicy details that make this such an amazing neighborhood.
Including some big changes that are coming to the area that you're definitely going to want to know about. So stay tuned so we can talk about some transportation changes and big lifestyle changes and how they're going to impact you in different areas of Berkeley.
We're Jake and Megan Friedel, your part-time tour guides, full-time real estate experts to Southern Denver Living. And we are so excited you're here, so please subscribe for all the latest updates on neighborhoods and check out our other videos. We have so much to tell you about Denver. You're really envious of that beanie right now. My head is so cold.
It's freezing out here. We should have just done a studio video today inside.
Every Friday, but we got to get out and show the people the city. You know?
Yeah, how many people are doing this? Like getting out in the city and really showing it to people instead of just being tucked up in their offices.
Just the dumb people.
We got to do it.
So if you're from California, you probably already are aware of Berkeley because you are like a moth to the flame here. All of my friends from California came here and moved to Berkeley. But for those of you who are not from California, let's talk about a little bit about where are we. We're in the northwest section of Denver. We are just a little bit north of Sloan's Lake in the West Highland area. We're west of Lowhigh in the Highlands and Sunnyside. And the boundaries here are 38 on the south side, I-70 on the north side, Sheridan and Federal on the east and west. And so it's this nice little square pocket. We've got a couple of lakes that are really accessible, nice to run around. There's about a mile walk around each one. And we're right next to Lakeside, the small amusement park. And the location is just one of the many huge selling points of this area. So we're on the west side of town, which is always attractive because we're close to the mountains, but we're also an easy commute to some of the major places that you might be commuting to. So if we're talking the airport, we're about 22 minutes away on a normal traffic day. For all these numbers I'm gonna throw at you, for bad traffic, multiply it by about 1.5. So DIA, about 22 minutes away. Downtown Denver, 11-minute drive, 20-minute bike ride. And there's a lot of easy bike routes in this area as well. If we're getting to the mountains, we're about 19 minutes away from Apex Trail, which is one of my favorite places to do some hiking and running, which is an easy access on the front side of the foothills. About 19 minutes to Golden, which is a super cute little town. And so we're just really close, easy commutes to so many places. About 25 minutes to the Denver Tech Center, really not a bad drive there. Awesome location, you can't beat this. And you're on the west side of town where we experience all the great appreciation values that are a little better than the east side of town. And if you're coming here for the skiing, most importantly, being on the west side of town skips a lot of that crappy traffic, just getting out of town. But you're going to want to be warned, these numbers you might multiply by 2 to 3 depending on really bad traffic. Folks moving to Colorado don't always understand that you have to do a little commuting to get to our ski town. So Winter Park, just under an hour and a half in good clear traffic if you're going up on a Wednesday. Breckenridge, about an hour and 45, hour and a half. A-Basin and Keystone, hour and a half or so. So not bad commutes during, easy traffic times, but if you are driving up on a Saturday morning, you better budget, you better get up early or budget yourself for more like 2.5 hours for these locations.
We started this location to show you Colorado's abundant water sports and rich lake life. No, I'm joking. This is a Colorado lake, and I know it's not much, but it is a really cool destination to come to and walk around, bike around, run around. And unlike, Wash Park or maybe Sloan's Lake, where those parks are the defining feature, Berkeley Lake Park is a little less so. It's more of a nice destination to go see those things. But they're really nice, beautiful scenic features of the area, and there's 2 of them. We have the Berkeley Lake Park here, and then we also have the Rocky Mountain Lake that is really close by. But the reason I say that these are not the defining feature of Berkeley is because I think the defining feature of Berkeley is more so its walkability. And that's made so because of Tennyson Street, which really serves as Berkeley's main street. It has tons of great things to do and restaurants, lots of pizza places. Atomic Cowboy is one really good one. If you're a vegetarian or even just vegetarian friendly like myself, you can hit Vital Root, really great. And then Bakery 4, Jake Friedel says is so good that you've got to stop off for a sweet treat there. Jake says I didn't sell it enough.
Totally undersold the bakery. Look, Bakery 4 is ridiculous. It was the 2025 winner of some World Bread Awards. Don't be afraid of the line. There's a huge line. They actually move really quickly, but you gotta try this if you're in town visiting. When you move here, you're gonna love it. My clients live on Stewart Street and they get to smell the beautiful smells of Bakery 4 from the alley all the time. The Pop-Tarts are insane. You gotta try this place. Totally undersold it.
Outside of being home to this fantastic bakery, Tennyson Street also really gives Berkeley its community feel. You know, it's got that main street vibe that kind of makes it feel more like a small town while still having all these big city amenities, and its really close proximity to downtown Denver, without feeling, you know, like overly touristy trappy, you know, where like everybody who hits Denver for a visit is hitting it. It's more like a locals feel where you're going to consistently see your neighbors, people that you know, and really give that neighborhood driven feel. But unlike a lot of true small towns where they really do start and end with their main street, Tennyson is not all that Berkeley has to offer. You have other little pockets of little restaurants. You know, American Elm is another great one that's not on Tennyson, that's a feature of Berkeley. Or, you know, coffee shops galore that you can walk to all the time. This is actually perfect timing because it's snowing right now. It just started snowing. And I want to talk a little about walkability in the wintertime. So walkability and bikeability are both really prevalent in the Berkeley area. You know, there's dedicated bike lanes in a lot of the streets around here. Not a ton of like bike paths that go off of the street, but still some really strong bikeability. And in the wintertime, this does put a little bit of a damper on this. If you're used to walking and biking and you want that path cleared, you know, that does create a bit of a problem. But I will also say in Colorado, one thing that is true about when it does snow is a lot of the time, as soon as it's hitting the ground, like this probably will happen later today, it melts off right away because the sun comes out. Today is a bit of a cloudy day, but usually even when it's snowing, we have sunshine. So it doesn't always stick. You know, if you're used to like a New York winter where that snow comes and it just sits and it just does not move, you don't have that as much here. So that does clear the path for a little bit more bikeability and walkability. But for as bikeable and walkable as the Berkeley area is, I think it's important that we have a little nuance here. When we talk about being bikeable and walkable in Denver, we have to have this important caveat that might not mean you can just ditch your car and bike and walk everywhere. Denver as a whole is pretty car dependent. I think Berkeley is the kind of area where most of the folks that we have helped buy in the area still have one car. They might share that between the couple, but you still kind of need the car to get out further for certain commutes. But as far as Denver goes, super walkable area. The transit center also is something that kind of leaves something to be desired. You know, you have like a main bus route that kind of gets you around, but you're not right on the light rail station or anything like that. But we have some big changes that are coming to the transit system that are going to impact Berkeley. Don't.
Okay, see, I'm telling you, it really is the smart people doing the studio videos. This is nonsense. Okay, big changes coming to transit. Now, this is gonna take the current 37 transit score of Berkeley and level it up. How much? Not enough to be a rival to like your Bostons or your Chicagos or your Bay Areas that actually have good transit, but it is going to improve it. We've got a couple of BRTs, which is a bus rapid transit center coming. We've got a north and south one coming on Federal. And what that means is we're going to have just like nicer bus stations with digital, you know, arrival times, real-time arrival times of the buses. It's going to go a lot faster, less stops. There's going to be a north or an east and west one that runs you a lot faster to downtown Denver. I can't tell you exactly what that score is going to be, but I think it's going to end up going from like a 37 to like maybe a 50s to 60s. We're still not super accessible to the light rail here, but it's getting a lot better. So this is my good friend and client, Keegan, and he lives right here in Berkeley in such a cool neighborhood. Keegan, what's your favorite thing about living in Berkeley?
You know, having the park so close by at Tennyson Street right over here really gives us a ton of activities to do with the kids, which leads into my next point, which is just, it's such a family-friendly neighborhood. You know, between all of the young families that have moved here, the support we get for one another, it's a tremendous area to raise kids and really get out and about and enjoy life.
How many families are you friends with, like within a stone's throw?
Oh my goodness. At this point, we've lived in Berkeley for about 5 years. And at this point, I'd probably say, upwards of 20 or 30 families. And I know that's a little tough to believe. I probably wouldn't have believed that myself before I moved here, but just the social interactions that happen naturally at the park across the street, walking around, and all the activities and events like First Fridays that go on here. It's really just a tremendous place to meet people, connect, and get to know one another over time.
What is something that you wouldn't know until you moved here about Berkeley?
You know, I think the access to the parks was really quite a surprise for me because we have Berkeley right up there, Sloan's Lake, a short walk or drive or bike ride away, the park right across the street as well, and Rocky Mountain Park up the road too. And really, you know, we can just kind of vary our week or day without going very far to take the kids out, have some fun, play soccer, go on the playground, or just go for a nice walk on a pleasant day.
And what is your favorite spot for date night in Berkeley?
My favorite spot for date night in Berkeley probably is Hops and Pie. It's just so easy and fun and such a nice atmosphere to go and have a casual drink and slice of pizza or salad and just enjoy your time together with indoor, outdoor seating and just a nice, easy spot to be.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Keegan.
Yeah.
Real quick before our normal introduction, we're doing something a little different today. We're going to dive into all of the schools in the Berkeley neighborhood as part of our video today.
Yeah, we heard your feedback. You want to hear more about schools in all the neighborhoods, so expect these regularly in all of our neighborhood tours.
All right, so we're making some comparisons to California and the Bay Area a lot with finances today. The reason being is like a lot of folks we feel like end up moving into Berkeley who are from California. Now, you don't have to be from California. It's a great neighborhood for anyone, obviously, but I think part of the reason people are moving there is because, wow, it's a pretty expensive neighborhood to live in as far as real estate pricing.
It is.
Denver, generally a pretty expensive place to live in comparison to a lot of metropolitan areas across the country.
But not if you're coming from like Bay Area, San Francisco, you're actually going to feel a little bit of a relief over in Berkeley.
Exactly. So this is maybe the perfect neighborhood for you. Cost of living generally something like 30% higher in the Bay Area than it would be in Berkeley.
So what do we mean when we talk about cost of living? Obviously, everything from housing to the food you're going to buy. And in the Berkeley area, or really even Denver as the greater whole, the prices of food is about 30% less than you might see in the Bay Area. And that's surprising because you do always harp on how good food is so expensive in the Denver area. So it's nice to have a little bit of ease there. Similar thing for groceries. Over in the Denver area, you're looking at about 25% lower around the Denver area than someplace like San Francisco.
Right, and then there's some other things like private school. If you want to send your kids to private school, there are some great public schools in the Denver metropolitan area, but if you're into the private school thing, there's a couple really good ones in this area. We'll touch on those later. But your average cost is going to be something like $2,000 a month, whereas in California, it might be more like $3,000 a month. And the most important question, we're talking about babysitting, right?
Gotta know.
When you live in a neighborhood like Berkeley, where there's like 100 restaurants that you can walk down the street to, you gotta have a good babysitter. Average.
If you want to ditch those kids for the restaurant experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anyway, so it's like starting wages for a normal babysitter is going to be about $23 an hour. That's pretty normal. I think you'll find a decent babysitter for that. If you want somebody who, does a little extra for you, maybe they're doing some household chores and laundry. What are you paying for yours these days?
Well, I was actually going to say, I think if you are looking in Berkeley area, usually being right close to Denver means a little bit more expensive than some of the surrounding suburbs for a lot of things. Babysitting ain't it, because I think in the southern suburbs, you actually see higher costs for things like babysitters. So there's one way that I think you're going to beat out some of the maybe cheaper suburbs. Yeah, we have a part-time babysitter that helps out, especially when schools are closed and, we just need a little bit more time. She's fantastic. We pay her $27 an hour. We have 2 kids and she does extras. She unloads the dishwasher. She puts away laundry anytime she has free time. So that's like really good care.
That's awesome.
But we did build her from the ground up. Like she came to us with like a little bit of experience. So I recommend doing that.
But really not a bad pricing, a little pricier down here, better in Denver, which is a big surprise. But another draw towards the Berkeley neighborhood is actually just a draw towards Denver in general. If you're coming from California especially, you are going to love the income taxes down here. Whereas California is more like 14%. Denver's got a pretty flat tax of about 4.4%. Now they're trying to change that into a more of a sliding scale thing. There's some legislation up for vote, but generally it's still going to be a lot lower. It's a really nice environment for running a business. We've always been this sort of laissez-faire state economically, with lots of other values that you're going to be excited about coming from California to Denver.
Yeah, and it's not just it's not just the income taxes, it's also property taxes. We get a lot of people coming here who I'll tell them, hey, look out, this area has a little bit high property taxes. And they're like, no, this is not bad. We were expecting double that. So you do get a little bit of relief in that here.
Yeah, your property taxes generally in Denver are something like 0.55%. So $5,500 a year on $1 million house. Not bad at all. So that's a great place to transition into the real estate. What is the cost of real estate like in this neighborhood?
Yeah, let's jump into those numbers. So we looked at the last year of closed prices for single family homes, and we saw an average just over $1 million, with the lowest at $415,000.
Now, don't get attached to that, because that was a fixer-upper, and we're talking like crazy fixer-upper, leave that to the investors.
And then flip it on the glam side, we had one close at $3 million. And then if you're going to look into what the lot size for that is, your average is about 5,550 square feet.
Megan, do you think anyone actually understands what 5,550 square feet means?
We do, because we look at those lots over and over again, and I know kind of exactly what that backyard looks like. But can you Google something to help us conceptualize if you're not every day showing houses?
My homeboy Claude here contextualizes it for us, and it says about 1.3 basketball courts, roughly half the size of a football field, which that's clearly not true. Sorry, Claude. About 13 standard parking spaces lined up. Picture a square that's roughly 74 feet on each side, about 25 normal walking steps per side. Honestly,
okay,
I think
you gotta fit a house on there too. So, when you're picturing your basketball court, put a house on there, and then what's left is your backyard. You gotta have a front yard.
Yeah, and so I think the basketball court is actually a pretty good analogy. One basketball court is about 4,700 square feet. This one's real, unlike the football field analogy. So, average 1.3 basketball courts is a pretty average lot size in Berkeley.
Yeah, and so I'd say for being so close to Denver, that's pretty good. I'd say it's slightly smaller than your average in a lot of suburbs, but still a pretty decent backyard.
And hey, if you're comparing it to a lot of the new builds that are out east, where you are phenomenally far from the city anyway, and you're on a brand new house, those lots are 5,000 square feet too. So at least you're in the city on a smaller lot.
And one thing to be cautious of is if you are having that lot, but it maybe didn't have a garage to start with, and then you put a garage on that lot, that's also really going to eat up your yard space. And in Berkeley, the last year's average days on market was about 28 days. I'd say that's kind of on par with all of the rest of the Denver area. But I will say that area does pick up a little bit in the spring seasons. I'd say it gets pretty competitive.
Yeah, and this year, this is 2026, depending on when you're watching this, was a hot spring. For just a moment, rates dipped below 6% for the first time in a while, and the market went pretty bonkers in neighborhoods like Berkeley.
Yeah, very neighborhood specific. There were some areas where it didn't really pick up, but Berkeley was not one of them.
Well, and specifically also the $1 million to $1.5 million purchase price in there. That was the hottest price point. And I think that's because we have a lot of move-up buyers, meaning people who were selling homes and getting ready to move into their next homes. We have a lot of folks like that who have been bottlenecked for years, kind of just hanging on to their 2.75% interest rate, and they were willing to make the move for about 5.75. So I was shopping for folks in Berkeley this spring, and it was
crazy.
Yeah. All right, so let's nerd out about my architectural stuff like I like to do. So Berkeley was founded, originally started in the 1890s, and was developed all the way, it's still developing today. So we have this breadth of sort of styles of all the different kind of architecture, right? And interestingly, Berkeley used to have a little trolley called the Berkeley Motor that ran up and down Tennyson Street and brought workers all the way to the downtown area. So all that architecture, you're going to see a lot of things, like you're going to see a lot of craftsman bungalows. That's probably the most common house that you're going to find in the Berkeley area. A lot of those left over until you start getting, I'd say next most common is maybe going to be some of the new modern infill. But the bungalow is kind of that wide front porch, single story home, low pitched roofs, but a really beautiful house. And you'll see some of those that have the pop tops.
That's where you just add on, just going upwards.
Right, yeah. You have this...
You could range into a 2-story kind of thing.
Exactly. Then we're going to have lots of brick Tudors, which are more of like they're 1 story, but they have higher pitched roofs. And they kind of have like this storybook, kind of thing
like
going.
Castle-y.
Yeah, it's like a little 1-story castle. We will have some Victorian homes, which are more this 2-story with the sort of like, they have really high-pitched roofs and sort of like, they almost look like little gingerbread houses, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Lots of those as well. Okay, and then of course you have what they call the Denver Square, which is kind of the Denver take on the modern 4 square. So you have 4 rooms per floor, usually a 2-story, and just a pretty standard, but brick home, beautiful house, not as like gingerbread looking as the Victorian homes. And then we've got the Craftsman, which is kind of just like a more refined version of the bungalow. It's just like a little fancy and a little more ornate. We get into some mid-century ranches. So this is the post-war era where you had more of a sprawling. You're only going to find these if there's like a bigger lot. But these are nice, lower pitched roofs, a little more modern than the old bungalow styles. And then just tons of what we call modern infill, new builds, duplexes, all kinds of things. There are a ton of duplexes in this area. So a lot of the stats we were talking about earlier do include duplexes when we're talking those single family homes.
Yeah, and these tend to be built straight up because everybody now wants more square footage, and there's really only one way to go. So a lot of times you see those being like the 3-story above ground.
And we're talking 3-story with a rooftop patio. So these are some pretty massive homes.
Mm-hmm. And people have opinions about them. Some people are super excited about them and buying them up left and right because they love the modernness and the location. And some people who've been there forever feel a little better about it and don't love it. We've definitely talked with a lot of homeowners that have opinions both ways on them.
But most importantly, what you're getting is just like a varied, this is not a suburb. This does not feel like Highlands Ranch or Arvada. You've got this breadth of different home styles. You're walking down the street and you get to enjoy the difference in the architecture. And while we're on that, like when you're walking down the street, we talked about those smaller lot sizes, a lot of big front porches, which really invites you out into the community. This is a front porch culture sort of neighborhood. And that's the point. You don't need a huge lot because the point of this is to be out on Tennyson Street, is to be out on your front porch saying hello to your neighbors. And I do find that something really special about this neighborhood is how easy it is to make friends. So there's the little Cesar Chavez Park that's right off of Tennyson Street. We hit Tennyson Street from a rock standing in this park. It's like the local spot to meet other parent friends. Mm-hmm. I'm generalizing here because there's a playground there. So it's, you meet young people on Tennyson Street. You meet your friends with kids at Cesar Chavez Park. And I have a whole block that is like all the same friends on Stewart Street. And they all live right there and they all met at Cesar Chavez Park. And then there's another one across on Utica Street. And that's where they all met because there's this beautiful park and super friendly, inviting people. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. At long last, by viewer request, we're diving into schools of Berkeley. So a little background, everything here is going to be a Denver public school. If it's a private, we'll mention that. If it's a charter school, we'll mention that. But this is the Denver Public Schools District. And we're starting off with Centennial School, which is pre-K through 5th grade. Public school, just not a charter, just regular public school. It is very walkable within Berkeley from just about anywhere. The niche grade is not currently posted as a letter grade, but it's published as above average. Great schools give it a rating of 8 out of 10. It outperforms DPS district average generally, and the curriculum is expeditionary learning, which is a hands-on, project-based and character-focused learning. I actually have friends who send their kids there, and they've been really happy so far.
Yeah. Then we have another elementary school, Rocky Mountain Prep. This is another charter school, and they start with early childhood education starting at 3, and they go into 5th grade. This school is right off of Tennyson Street. It has a student-teacher ratio of 15-1 and a niche grade of B.
And you know, when we were driving ourselves, cowering from the snow and just calling it quits on the outside for the day, we drove by that school in Tennyson. It felt a little busy.
It's a little busy, so if that's a con for you, it's something you should know.
Next one I want to touch on is the Highlands Micro School. Like the name is, this is in the Highlands. It's not directly in Berkeley, but it's a really easy trip to the Highlands. It's like a less than a 10-minute drive. And this one might be worth it for you.
You have several clients who have kids that go to school there, right?
Oh my gosh, and they love it. So it's a private school. So this one is a tuition of about $16,000 per year. But the ratio of student to kids is 9-1. So it's really a fantastic atmosphere. It's a progressive, non-religious, independent school, mixed age classrooms, no traditional grades, no homework, low tech, very student-centered and inquiry-based learning. So they've even got like overnight adventure experiences for team building. They've got summer camps available from June through August. But there is a wait list on this school most years. So if you're trying to get in this one, you're going to have to start thinking about it in advance.
Yeah, really, most any schools you're looking into that are these private type schools, you're going to need to be checking that out pretty far ahead of time.
Getting into middle schools, we've got Skinner Middle School, which is just east of the Berkeley neighborhood. So you do have to cross Federal to go into the Highland Sunnyside area, but that's not too bad. Pretty close. You got grades 6 through 8. Enrollment recently was about 660 students. Niche grades the school at a B+. School Digger ranks it in the top 30% of Colorado middle schools. Pretty good school.
Yeah, and this is the one that has the no homework policy, right?
Oh my gosh, everybody's up on this no homework policy in Berkeley.
Where was that when we were kids?
Oh my gosh.
But they also have additional support, including like Saturday office hours, career development support. They're really focused on giving you the extra outside of the office hours kind of stuff.
Yeah, so far I'm feeling pretty stoked about this area.
Okay, let's move to the older kids. Where are we going to high school?
We're going to North High School, the Vikings. We've got an emphasis on career and technical education and a well-known drama program. Niche grades this high school a B. And it's over in the Highlands neighborhood. So we're down off of Spear, not terribly far. Like I said, all these areas are really close together. So if you're living in Berkeley, you're probably like an 8 to 10 minute drive away from North. And for high school, if you're not into the public school thing, we've got Arupe Jesuit High School.
Yep, this one has a little bit more of a, I would say average ratio for the teacher to students. So this one is about 18-1. It does, of course, have the tuition. That's about $3,550 a year.
And that is insanely cheap for a private school. Whereas like Valor High School down the street from us is like $25,000 a year, $3,500 a year. They've got something special going, which is this this like sort of kids
corporate work program
where the students work one day a week in order to help offset the costs and get those kids working.
Get them some ethics.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. It's got some strength in its soccer, basketball, volleyball, baseball, cross country, and cheer programs. They compete at the 3A level, and they're 3-peat state champions in their co-ed cheer as of a couple of years ago.
Plus 19 consecutive years of 100% college acceptance from this school. A great option for the littles from all the way from 8 weeks old to 6th grade is Midtown Montessori. Montessori education is more of a child-led education program where you have mixed ages throughout the grades. The idea being that the older kids sort of mentor the younger kids. Really cool location on this one within the Berkeley neighborhood is in the historic Berkeley Chapel on 46th. So we've got self-directed learning. This specific campus is beautiful and light-filled and just a really cool environment. No niche grade on this one because they don't really grade little Montessori schools like this, but we've got a teacher-student ratio of about 4 students per 1 teacher, and that will probably look like a classroom of like 12 to 20 students with the appropriate amount of teachers. No publicly posted tuition on this one.
Ooh, Jake, does that mean it could be negotiable?
Ooh, Megan, I love your enthusiasm for saving our folks money, but let's save it for the houses. I don't think it's negotiable. Okay. Option for middle school is going to be Strive Prep, the Lake campus, which is down by Sloan's Lake. So you got a little bit of a trip there, but this is a tuition-free public charter school. It's pretty small with under 200 students. This is for grades 6 through 8. You are going to have to apply to get into this one, and I would imagine it might be a little difficult to get into, but you have an 8-to-1 student-teacher ratio, so you get tons of face-to-face time. A beautiful area right there by the lake. Teaching philosophy is mission-driven, college preparatory charter model focused on rigorous academics, emphasis on strong teacher-student relationships, small classes. I definitely recommend diving into this one a little more and seeing if that's the right place for you and getting on the application early. Before we dive into our last school here, let me just tell you that Denver Public Schools has a sort of unique system for school of choice where you're not guaranteed the school closest to you. You are guaranteed one of the schools within a certain radius, but there's a whole school of choice application process. And we'll dive into this at another date on a full video because there's quite a lot going on here. So make sure you subscribe and you can get notified when we drop that one. But next one is Thomas Edison Elementary School. It's a public school, so it's tuition free, but it is a gifted and talented magnet school. The entire identity is kind of, circled around the spirit of Thomas Edison. They focus on invention, inspiration, creativity. You've got hands-on learning in science, literature, and art. They have themed gardens on the grounds. There's a Shakespearean amphitheater and performance area, which is pretty sweet. You don't see that too often. They serve pre-K through 5th grade. They have about 550 students, 17-to-1 teacher-student ratio. That is 4-year-olds, no further than that, just 1 year of pre-K there. Niche has not given a specific letter grade. They list it as highly rated. School Digger gives it 5 out of 5 stars, 5 years in a row, which is phenomenal. And the cherry on top here, for you parents of neurodivergent kiddos, Edison has a multi-intensive autism center-based program, and it's a great place. I know for us, finding the right place for our kiddo with ASD, it's a lot of work. So definitely hone in and check out this one a little deeper. And that is it on the schools. We're back outside. How did that happen? Well, that's a wrap for our Berkeley tour today. If you're considering Berkeley, you're probably also wise to consider some other neighborhoods near here, like Sloan's Lake, West Highland, Low High, Sunnyside. And don't worry, we have videos for those too. So check out our other videos, subscribe to the channel for all the latest tours.
But you know that no video is a true replacement for an actual conversation with a real estate human being. That's what we are. We are your real estate human beings. So reach out in any of the ways in the description below. Let's get a conversation started and figure out which area is best for you and how we can help you get there.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.